A great evil is about to be loosed upon the earth. An evil so stupendous, so terrifying, so disgusting that few dare speak its name. An evil called Jenny Perkins of 13932 Jefferson Way.
Mucha, lucha. Man, this was an amazing show. As a kid, I remember it was on all the time on Kids WB, but I feel like it was one of those hidden gems that not a lot of people saw, even though it had 3 seasons of straight bangers and ran constant reruns. It was canceled in 2005 because of production problems, but not before it could release this holy grail, Mucha Lucha, The Return of El Malefico. The movie came out in 2005, right as season 2 was ending, and quite possibly saved the show from cancellation. Starring Tim Curry, the guy from Scary Movie 2 and It, and Penn and Teller, who you most likely already know. But what you didn't know is that all 3 of these guys were voice actors for a children's TV show back in the early 2000s. So let me tell you about it. The movie starts out with the main bad guy himself, El Malefico, doing the whole evil villain thing of monologuing his plans, explaining he was banished into the world of darkness, but he has a reasonably thought out and not crazy at all plan. He's going to wait for somebody to read a passage out of the Luchador's Handbook, backwards, in hopes of returning to the land of daylight. Cue our main man, the Flea. The Flea, under the control of El Malefico, convinces Ricochet to read a passage from the obscure book I was talking about, and releases our villain, who immediately starts destroying everything in sight. But we're in luck. Ricochet's grandpa knows of El Malefico and exactly how he can stop him. A strong warrior who is brave and loves his family and tradition. It turns out to be Ricochet himself, and proves it with a video he took of Ricochet's parents right before our brave warrior was born. And that's when we get our first magical appearance of Penn and Teller, who are pretending to be psychics, foreseeing the warrior's prophecy. Then we pan over to see El Malefico destroying the world's best luchadores in a huge cage match, including our 3 heroes' parents. But Ricochet isn't going to stand for this. He's going to find El Silver Mask Jr. and collect the artifacts that can destroy El Malefico for good, setting our savior out on his quest. Man, this movie is throwing everything they got at us. The art style and comedy alone are enough to make me love this movie, and the story has me hooked. I'm still questioning how Penn and Teller are wrapped up in all of this, and who trapped El Malefico in the dark world to begin with, but hopefully we'll get some answers soon. Our heroes have traveled to Mexico City in search of El Silver Mask Jr. in hopes he will be able to lead them to the lost artifacts of Buenaness. But instead of helping, he hands them a map and ditches the kids to go fight El Malefico himself, only to be defeated and eaten, leaving our heroes on their own. So they come up with their own plan and split up to find the artifacts. Buena Girl will get the boots of bravery, and the Flea will get the tights of tightness, and Ricochet will get the capes of courage. As our heroes split up, everyone is on track, except for the Flea, who instantly gets lost, but is helped out by Penn and Teller pretending to be pawn shop owners, giving us our second appearance of our favorite magical duo. We then pan back to Buena Girl, as she has found the boots of bravery, but has to defeat the Duchess Loca in order to secure them, which seems challenging, but she defeats her easily. Panning back to the Flea's journey, he must defeat Do Cerebro in a battle of wit, which he does easily, which is a surprise considering who the Flea is. We then pan over to El Rey, who is basically just stumbling across the Cape of Courage. Really? All 3 of our heroes were just given the artifacts, and I can see what the writers were trying to do, what with having all 3 of the main characters fight a villain and collect their prize, but they missed the mark. I don't know if they ran out of time or lost motivation for this half, but the hunt of the artifacts of Buenaness was lackluster at best. After our heroes finally get the artifacts of Buenaness, they travel to Vegas via Mexican Elvis and his mini motorcycle, where they finally get to fight El Malefico, but not before our third appearance of Penn and Teller, who help our heroes get into El Malefico's secret entrance. But it turns out Penn and Teller are working for the Dark Lord himself, which sets off what could quite possibly be the best lucha fight between El Rey, Buena Girl, the Flea, and Penn and Teller in tights. Obviously, our heroic trio win, but still, it was an amazing show to watch. Our heroes then face off with the final boss and defeat him within 3 hits, which was extremely lackluster. But there's a second stage of this boss, which takes this thing to a whole new level. Our heroes activate their artifacts and go all giant Mucha lucha on El Malefico's butt, and our trio finally defeat El Malefico and release all the luchadors who were trapped inside the dark world, wrapping up the movie. But not without unmasking our villain, who turns out to be Jenny Perkins of 13932 Jefferson Way, and sending her back to the dark world where her evilness belongs. And so, you have it. All well that ends well. Good has triumphed and evil has been defeated. But I can't help but wonder what happened during the last 2 parts of this movie. It feels like the writers just couldn't think of an ending and wrapped it up. Our heroes didn't use any of their signature moves, and our main baddie was defeated super easily, which makes me wonder how he was able to defeat all the other luchadors and capture them. But asking those kind of questions about a kids movie is kind of redundant. I should just be happy to see Penn and Teller as cartoon characters and leave it at that. But let me know your thoughts on the movie. Do you remember this show as a kid? And what did you think about the ending? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Thanks for watching.